Welcome to Money in the Air, the music podcast about neighboring rights, the royalties you earn from the public performance of your recordings and the business of music in general. Brought to you by IFR, the International Association for Artists and Rights Holders.
I'm Andrew, co-founder and chief royalty officer of Royalty.
Hi, I'm Gina Deacon. I work for Absolute Rights Management and I work with record labels and artists to ensure we claim the royalty income due to them.
I'm Stacey Haber and I'm from Inside Baseball Music Publishing.
Hi, I'm Tanya Oliveira. I work for Transparent Entertainment Group. I handle registrations and repertoires for performers and rights holders around the world.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Money in the Air, the Neighboring Rights podcast brought to you by IFR. Today, we're going to talk about GVL, which is the CMO in Germany that collects on broadcasts in Germany, and some of the nuances regarding claiming and the point system that's attributed to featured artists, producers, and non-featured artists. Tanya, what can we say about the point system at GVL and why is it important for all three of those categories?
GVL uses a point system. The band members receive the most, that's 4 points each. And then you have soloists, that's a category. Ed Sheeran, for example, he would be the soloist. So if you're claiming on behalf of a soloist featured performer, make sure you select soloist in the drop-down option. Do not choose band lineup because your client will get more points. They will get the total, which is 5 points. So the total points that GVL awards is 5. You can do a maximum of 2 roles, and the band members and soloists, in other words, the featured artists, get the most. And then artistic producers get 3 points, which is pretty good. And not many people are aware of that. So if you have producer clients, you can easily claim for them at GVL. You don't need to submit evidence or a form like at PPL. They will do their own background research. They might reach out to you to confirm things once in a while. Conductors get 4 points. And then we have studio musicians and background singers. In other words, the session players, the non-featured, they get 1 point per performance. If you're a session player, but you also produced an album, then you want to claim both roles because your artistic producing is going to get 3 points per production.
Just to recap, there are 3 categories that our musicians should be concerned about. It's the featured artist pool, it's the producer pool, and then also lastly, the non-featured session musician pool of income. And so each one of these income is reserved for roles within who is contributing to the sound recording. I kind of want to talk about what is the process for claiming repertoire at GVL, because it's a little different than some of the other societies around the world where you can't necessarily claim a recording until airplay income has been matched to that song. So Gina, how would you go about claiming some of the repertoire at GVL?
First of all, we love GVL. We love GVL because they pay so well. It's something that you've really got to drill into, focus on, and it's so rewarding. So, yeah, you're right. They do only pay for usage. So you can't, like it could be PPL, just processing your claims, just sit back and wait for the income. It could arrive in that year or it could arrive in 5 years' time whenever there's usage. With GVL, you've got to literally keep a check on it and make the claims as and when there is actual usage of that recording. So what we suggest you do is you search for the recordings, and you can search for them by the artist involved or by the title, both, to drill it down a bit. You can get some typos, be aware of that. So be a little bit flexible when you're doing your searches, play around with some of the titles. That's quite interesting what you come up with. And then you can kind of bank the recordings, if you like. They call it bookmarking. You just literally select the little bookmark tag. And if your recording hasn't yet had airplay, you bank it in the bookmark section. And then you can just go and check it every couple of months, every sort of quarter or so. And if you suddenly see that there's a bit of usage, you pop it into the claim basket. And as Tanya's just talked through, you claim depending on what your role is. If you're a producer and a session musician, there could be some great income there for you. It basically equals almost the actual role of the main artist because you've got that role behind you. So don't write yourself off. If your role is known only as production, there could be some good, generous money out there for you from GVL. And we've seen it coming.
So just to highlight, I love how you're emphasizing how much money there could potentially be for you coming from GVL. So every single year, GVL collects just north of 250 million euros. It's according to the 2019 revenue statistic on GVL. It's just a little bit more of an active claiming process than some of the other CMOs, but it could be well worth your while if you are claiming your income through GVL.
I just want to reiterate that you don't need to submit evidence when you make your claims, which saves a little bit of time. GVL review everything, and if they dispute it or they can't find evidence, they email the representative or you yourself as the producer performer if you've made your own claims. To reiterate that soloist, select that category if you are the featured artist and you are literally on your own, like you are an Ed Sheeran, an Adele, a Dua Lipa, it's just you.
This concept of not having to submit evidence, GVL does their due diligence on your behalf, is really important because at Sound Exchange here in the US, you have to submit, or you have to get the featured artist to submit a LOD to Sound Exchange to allocate a percentage of their royalties to you as a producer. Same thing at PPL, you need to submit an eligible producer form to PPL to receive that royalty. Whereas at GVL, they're doing the research on your behalf, and you can get up to 3 out of the 5 points, which is 60% of the available share of monies, where it's typical that producers are receiving an average of 20%, I would say, on recordings from artist share income. That's significant for specifically producers.
Definitely, yeah. As Gina said, they pay very well. So yeah, if you're directly registered at GVL, then it's well worth the time or chatting to your representative. And that's it, checking every year because there will be new usage every year of your repertoire. So it's not just a once in a lifetime, I'm going to sit down for 12 hours and claim, because it's all manual like PPL. You've got to check every year.
Thank you for listening. Remember, info@ifr.co.uk if you have any questions or need individual help, and become a member. Join IFR at www.iafar.co.uk. Thanks for listening.